Um, Laverne and Shirley was, as I don't know if you know this, but it was sold to ABC without a pilot. Usually, I mean, especially then, everything needed a pilot, and you do that, cost a lot of money. But the girls were doing Laverne and Shirley as a guest spot on Happy Days, in which they played women of the night, and they dated Fonzie and Richie, and it was funny, and Fred Silverman liked it. So this was pilot season, and as he said to Gary Marshall, turn them into a show, and I'll give you, Gary, you'll go on the air, just get them. So the girls agreed to do it, and Penny called me and said, David, this is strange, but I'm doing a TV show for ABC called Laverne and Shirley. And I said, oh, great. But there's no pilot. I said, oh, that's terrible. You ought to get yourself a pilot. No, you don't understand. We're doing it. We're just going to do the first episode the way it is, and we're going to, it'll be great. But without a pilot, we don't have any running characters other than Laverne and Shirley. I said, I was thinking Lenny and Squiggy, which Michael and I have been doing since college, just for our own amusement and several other people. She said, I think they might be good last-ditch dates for the girls. I said, really? She says, yeah, I've tried to tell the writers about them, but I can't really figure out what I'm talking about. So if you could come to the party tonight, do the characters, and that'll give everybody an idea of it, and it'll be fun, and it'll be free drinks. So I said, I don't know, I'll think about it. I don't know what I was thinking about. And Michael and I were performing actually at the Improv that night. We were doing with our group, The Credibility Gap, which was terrific work. And when it was over, I said, let's go to Penny and Rob's house, where Rhina was her husband. I don't know, she says, maybe there's a part for us in this new show. I don't want to go. I won't know anybody there. That's what Michael said. And I said, no, your wife is pregnant and you've got $6 in the bank. If we do this show, we get a chance to put Lenny and Squiggy on the air. So we'll do one or two. We'll qualify for maximum unemployment. Oh, okay. So we went to the party and we said, okay, but only if it comes up. I don't know what we were doing. Only if that comes up, it would. So we sat down and Rob Reiner turned around and said, so you're going to do Lenny and Squiggy? And the whole party stared at us and quieted down. And Michael and I, we didn't pour a cup of water over our heads and slick back our hair, or I didn't even take my glasses off, and we just went into a bit that we had never done before, nor have we ever done since. And everybody laughed. I mean, it didn't surprise me, but it just was about, I don't know whether the bit lasted 5 minutes or 20 minutes, but everybody laughed. And then when it was over, and I went home, and the next day, Gary Marshall, who I don't think was there for it, said, I hear those two guys are funny. Why don't you, maybe they could be on this show. I said, really? Yeah, Lenny and Marvin. I said, no, you can't switch their names. Let's just leave it Lenny and Squiggy. Make Squiggy German, because we were Milwaukee. So Anthony Squigliano then became Andrew Helmut Squigman, and he was, of course, of German fraction. And Leonard Kosnowski, that's self-explanatory. And these guys suddenly, 2 weeks later, we were doing them on television. And basically we were in charge of, because nobody really, we'd get jokes like the two of them arguing which was a bigger number, 5 or 10. And I'd say, that's not how they spend their stupidity. How dumb are these guys? They don't argue about that. That doesn't cross their mind. Let us handle it. So we were basically in charge of writing which number they thought was bigger, but also in charge of writing all of the jokes and the bits. And it was great. It was carte blanche.